might have clicked on one of my budget, eco-friendly home projects, DIYs, thrifting, meal ideas, or other ways I save money. My channel is about sharing my journey learning, expanding, and my knowledge and skills on ways to be more resourceful and sustainable living and lifestyle while adapting to the challenges in an ever-changing economy. I am sure you too can relate and have similar goals. I love to be creative, and I hope by me sharing my journey through life, we can learn and grow together. Let's go ahead and get into this video.
0, 1. Let's get started.
Hey guys, it's Megan here. Welcome. If you are new or returning, I'm glad you clicked on this video. Today I'm just going to be sharing with you guys how I make a little extra cash on hand. I do it for all sorts of occasions like Christmas time, back to school time, things where the months it gets a little bit more expensive. It's good to sell a couple of things here and there just to make a little extra cash, and this is what I'm going to be doing. It is back to school time, so I'm spending about 4 or 5 weeks just getting some furniture flips done. So we just recently, in the last couple of months, had a graduation party, and I had these tables outside for guests, and then I had these covers for the graduation party. So I just kept them on the tables because I knew I was going to be utilizing them with this deglosser. And so what activates the deglosser is by putting the plastic or some sort of a plastic wrap over the chemical after you lay it. And so you can see here that I laid this deglosser and laid that plastic piece back over it so it could activate it. And then here I'm just going to be scraping it. And so all of this process right here just cost me really nothing. I got the deglosser from under the sink. I talk about it all the time in my videos. I love the place so much. I'm going to keep talking about it because I just think it's a great way to utilize people's donated chemicals, whatever it may be. So there's paint, there's gel stain, there's deck stains. Sometimes you can find cleaning products there. I mean, the list goes on. Anything really that you can find under your sink or in your garage, people will donate stuff to this place. And it's become a really good way for me to save money when I'm doing flip projects for my home and flip projects like this for resale. So I'm just gonna be sharing with you guys along like what I'm doing in the process. I'm not really gonna be walking through any of this, but essentially what I did was that after I took that glaze off, I just cleaned it really well, and then I am taking a sanding tool here and sanding down the rest of the table. It's in really bad condition, so I'm going to do kind of like a Pottery Barn-esque feel to this, but in the meantime I have to get it prepped before I can start that process. There was quite a few different repairs on it that I needed to do on it, so I'm just taking the sanding material from the sandbag and mixing it in with some wood glue, and then I'm just taking a little tool here and just fixing the spots that needed fixed. There was quite a few repairs on here. So did I mention that I got this table and the chairs behind it for absolutely free? There were 6 chairs and the table. It's an extended table, so it's really quite large. I'm sure it can fit probably 8 to 10 people if you wanted to, but I did get this for free. So my flip is going to be completely profit for me. I didn't spend any money on this. So here's where we're at before we get started on painting the table. So I do want to quickly go walk through what I'm going to be doing here. the first step is that I'm going to be painting it like a tan kind of color. I had some tan left on hand, and then what I'm going to be doing is taking all these different gel stain colors that I have on hand. I'm doing like a black, a like provincial or like an early American color. I'm going to be doing a like a dark walnutty kind of color, and then even like this yellowy kind of color that I got. It was a gel stain as well, and I'm just going to be mixing all of the colors, and I'm just going to be taking that here in a minute and layering those with a chip brush and a few different brushes that I have to kind of get this like Pottery Barn look. But before I do that, I am just taking some paint I had on hand. I really wanted to use the rest of this paint that I had in my basement. I have a project that I need to finish down there, and but I'm just going to pick up another gallon of it because I'll probably need a whole another gallon of it anyway. I really love the color. It's like a brown color, but in some lights it kind of shows up this like moody gray color, so I really love it. I think it's like in a satin finish, and so I just painted the bottom half of the table, and then I'm going to end up painting the chairs that same color as well. But here I'm just going to walk through here briefly that I'm just taking the gel stains, letting it sit for a second, and then wiping it. So it's just kind of like wiping that stain and kind of doing it in all the same direction. Look, listen, I'm not an expert. I watched a ton of YouTube videos, so I'm just following that thought process of what other people have done. And it really turned out great. So hope you stick around till the end to finish watching and see how this all turned out. So I didn't have a before picture of these chairs. If I find something, I'll try to add that in here. But these chairs had cushions on them, so I took off the cushions before I started painting these. I did have to do quite a few repairs on these chairs before I started painting these. But essentially what I did for this process was that I used Easy Off on these chairs because they had a really, really high gloss on them. And I wanted to get that the glossiness off the chairs. And so I just sprayed, I literally just sprayed all the entire chairs with this Easy Off and then just washed it off really good before I sanded them down. I did give them a light sanding only because they needed a lot of repairs, and there were just quite a few different areas that just really needed a little love in those areas. So I had to wood glue some of the chair pieces together because it was like that Formica or laminate kind of layer over it. So that's why there was such a high gloss on them, because whatever material they use, like a laminate type of material, that stuff it's kind of coming off on the table and the chairs. So it's not a perfect, flip, but it really turned out really good. I'm still learning this process. This is my very first table, so you're coming along with me doing my very first full table flip. But at any rate, I wish I would have primed these before I painted them, but I did end up doing 3 coats of this paint on these chairs and then a coat of matte polyurethane because I didn't want that high gloss look, which typically on that polyurethane, if you get a glossier finish, it just looks super glossy in my opinion. And I just really wanted to kind of bring down that. I didn't really want them super glossy. I wanted them kind of used looking, like they've been used before, not brand new. So I think I got that effect at the end, but yeah, I just wish I would have at least primed them first. Do think when doing furniture flips, I think it's really important to save time as much as possible where you can. And so here I'm just taking the spray gun that I have, and I just really think this saves a lot of time because with these you have so many grooves and it's going to just take a ton of time with a paintbrush. But if it's something that you want to take the time doing, if you're going to do a project like this, definitely can be done with a paintbrush. I've done it before many times. But I really think it's important to flip your furniture pieces upside down and make sure you're getting all angles when you're painting, because there will be areas you will miss if you don't flip your furniture around and spray each angle. So that's what I did here, and I did a couple of coats when I flipped it as well. So just a pointer that when I've done it, that's what I feel like works for me, to make sure to flip the areas and get all the angles, because otherwise it's just, you can definitely tell, and you'll have to go back in with a paintbrush and fix the areas way too much more and it just saves time doing it this way. So here's the cushions that I was talking about. Aren't they lovely? They're super gross. They, of course, these chairs were sitting outside for some time when we picked it up off the curb. So they were in really crappy shape, to be honest. So I just found this fabric at my Goodwill bins. I probably paid a little bit more than I wanted to. I wish I would have took out the middle insert, the little thing that was holding the fabric together, because I think it would have saved me a little bit of money if I pulled that big piece out. But nonetheless, here's where I'm at. I just took off again all the old cushion covers, and now I'm just putting the new fabric on. And it's really quite straightforward. You just take the fabric, the old fabric, and kind of the new fabric, and measure out that way. And that's what I did. It helped me with the sizing that I needed for these chairs. And then I just used the cushions that were there. They weren't in the best shape ever, but they still work. They're still functional. They're still actually pretty comfortable. So I just gave them a little wipe down before I put the new fabric on. So the bottom of the chairs, this wood, it sits underneath, and really you could probably paint it to the same color if you were painting the chairs, but I didn't with these, and that's okay. It's still showing the age of these chairs, which works for some people, maybe not everybody, but nonetheless, you can do whatever you want with the cushions to make it as nice or as repurposed looking, used as possible. So here I am just doing that polyurethane coating on these. I did use the spray gun for this, and then I did end up going back in with a paintbrush and just kind of wiping it all in the same direction, so it wasn't so it kept clogging up in the areas. And I don't know if it was just because it's not good to do polyurethane in the sprayer, but nonetheless I did do a coat of the matte polyurethane on this, and I also got this from my local under the sink. So again, all of the stuff that I had was already on hand, so this is literally costing me nothing in materials or tools to do this job, which it's 100% profit for me, exception of my time. So yeah, I do suggest putting a polyurethane coat over when you're done, just so it seals in that paint. Now I am taking some Scotchgard and spraying it over this fabric, just to, for one, protect the fabric, but for two, the fabric was kind of I don't know if it's because it was so old, but the fabric was just kind of like the lint was coming off of it. I can't even really describe what was happening, but it was just like there was a lint that was it was like a cat shedding. It felt like it kept shedding. So this really stopped that shedding from happening by spraying the Scotchgard over the fabric. So that's what I suggest doing. Here I'm using a plastic wood filler to cover the holes that were once used for the old nail holes that were holding the chairs to these cushions, because this wood is so worn that I was afraid that once I started re-putting the nails back in, that they just weren't going to stay in. So this is a great option if you're trying to re-screw something back in where a screw once was, that you use some sort of a filler to help bond that old area and get that nail end to stay in. So that's what I kind of suggest doing, and that's what I'm doing here, and it worked. So I'm happy with it. One thing I've learned when flipping furniture, especially chairs, is to put the chairs, when you're trying to put cushions back on chairs or anything, that you need to flip it upside down to get your best pressure when putting the nail back in to the object, because that's what really kind of gets the cushions back on to the chair, especially with this situation. So that's just a one suggestion, you know, for me, just over the years learning tips and tricks and what works and what doesn't, because going underneath of it when it's standing upright really just doesn't get you the, I guess, gravity that you kind of need when putting these cushions back in. Right, you ready to check out how this table and chair set came out to look like? I'm excited to show you. All right, here's how it turned out. So I put this in a local semi-annual consignment sale for 150 bucks. I spent $10 on the fabric, which I totally forgot about, and then a portion of the filler that I used. And so all in all, after the consignor fee, I made 95 bucks off of this kitchen set. And so I'm really happy with it, and I'm really happy with it, how it turned out. And it wasn't in perfect condition, so I am happy with the $95. So what do you think? Also in the sale, I resold this play set for 30 bucks, and I just used paint and primer for this project. And when I painted it, before I painted it, I sanded it down really, really well to make sure that that primer and the paint stuck to it. But I was really happy for getting this out of my house because my son no longer was able to fit in it and play in it. So I was able to get this sold, as well as a 3-tier bench, which I wasn't able to get in the pictures. It was a really easy flip. It was already in good condition, so I didn't share that with you guys. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, and I hope that you subscribe if you are new to my channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.